forgery in Black's Law, that is a crime. That is a crime, and it should be dealt with. Like if I went out here and I forged something on somebody, they would have me they'd have me up under the jailhouse. But these attorneys band together, and we need to get all this mess cleaned out. And if they've got a little good old boys club going on down around here, down somewhere in North Carolina, we need to get the good old boys club cleaned out, because the Constitution says we the people. It's we the people. It's not these people that sit up here and say these things and do these. The state of North Carolina needs to change all this stuff, because that should not happen. When you go into a court of law, it's supposed to be a court of law in the state of North Carolina, and you've got your documentation that you have been trampled on, that you have been fraudulently done wrong, and these people and you got 4 forged affidavits, and you have proof with you, and then they sit there and say we can't hear this in this court, but yet she's got the authority to take your home and give it to take your home illegally. This stuff like this in North Carolina has got to stop. I don't know that you're interested in a class action lawsuit against anything, anybody that's done any forgery or fraud on you. Will you send it to me, to Maggie Walker, Post Office Box 10566, Raleigh, North Carolina 27605. Greatly appreciate it. Hi, my name is Maggie Walker, and I am here today to talk about the mortgage fraud that's in the state of North Carolina and how it has affected me over the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm sure and I know that it has affected a lot of other North Carolinians also. But okay, I want to start with this. I do hereby charge Coppell, Texas-based American Home Mortgage and Option 1, their collection agencies and their attorneys who have used and are currently using forgery and illegal and fraudulently tactics to collect payments in excess of what homeowners truly owe. American Home Mortgage agents and attorneys have falsely claimed that homeowners do not make payments on time so they can justify excessive fees for escrow accounts. American Home Mortgage and Option 1 have failed to properly credit all payments which I have made to them on time. All of the above leads to their unlawful foreclosing on homeowners such as myself, who have not defaulted. I have proof and documentation. These mortgage companies, their attorneys and notaries, and so-called vice presidents who are not and never have been vice presidents, have been and are practicing in different states and still committing forgery and fraud. Most of the states in the United States, most of the attorney generals have got involved, and a lot of them have brought suit against them in different states. Okay, when we talk about this, now it's not only American Home Mortgage and Option 1, it's also Wells Fargo, it's also MERS and Docs and MERS. I'll explain about Docs and MERS later on. But Option 1, Equity 1, Popular Mortgage, Litton Loan, all these are subsidiaries of big banks such as mainly like Wells Fargo. And Option 1, American Home Mortgage and Wells Fargo, they're all tied in together. And for instance, anyone, let's say anyone suffering foreclosure at a minimum is titled to foreclosure in accordance to the letter of the law, and not in the court proceedings based on fraudulent affidavits and documentations of half-truth and contrived legal testimonies meant to activities to fleece families of their home. The lender's ultimate goal is to hide the whole truth behind their scam and ultimately defying the laws of the United States and making a mockery of the U.S. judicial system, a system set up by our founding fathers to protect the public from exactly what is going on now with all of us at the present time. Option 1, American Home Mortgage and their attorneys, all signers of fraudulent documents and have committed violations of North Carolina and the consumer protection laws. At present, I have documentation of 4 forged and fraudulently affidavits sent to me from Shapiro and Engel. Gerald Shapiro is only allowed to practice in the state of Florida and in Illinois. A lot of people in the United States do not know that. But those are the only 2 states that he's legal in. But he has a sidekick like the one that he has here in North Carolina. It's Grady Engel. And I have proof of all this documentation. If anyone would like to see this, all they have to do is to send to me. And at the end of this, I'll leave my address. Okay, so Shapiro and Brunson. A federal class action claim that thousands of Maryland homeowners lost their homes because of illegal robo-signing operations of Shapiro and Brunson law firm with offices in Baltimore, Maryland, Fairfax, Virginia, and 6 of its attorneys. This suit also charges the firm charged excessive fees. They charge excessive fees. And the suit notes that the state attorneys in Prince George County, Maryland, has opened up a criminal inquiry into the firm. Now, Gerald Shapiro, he is in several states, and he has took someone with him to partner with him in different states that is licensed in that state, like in the state of North Carolina, Grady Engel is. And they signed these affidavits. Okay, the affidavits like this, I have one. They started foreclosure on me in January the 4th of 2012, which they had no legal right to. It's wrongful foreclosure. Okay, I've got the affidavit. It was signed by Brenda L. Frazier and notarized for Felton Ramsey, which is a vice president, and which in research, which the investigation was, he's never been a vice president. And Josh Turner, he's never been a vice president. And Gerald Hickerman, he's never been a vice president. They started this in January of 2012 on me, and they have dragged it out. It's been drug out, and today is March, the middle of March, and it's still going on. But Linda Bayless, in July the 12th, 2012, Linda Bayless was the notary for Gerald Heckerman. Well, Gerald Heckerman is he's also been charged for in the state of Florida, let's see, and in the state of New York, filed in New York, June 2012. Gerald Heckerman signed as Assistant Secretary of Sand Canyon Corp. Option 1 to Wells Fargo. And the notary used was Linda B. Bayless. 8 were to former FBI handwriting expert, identical matches, and it was a cut and paste job. But I have in my possession, with Linda Bayless's signature, I have 4 different signatures of hers, and you can tell that they have been forged. And these notaries, they're forging this stuff, and these vice presidents, which they have never been vice presidents, and they are not vice presidents, because the first one that I got from Linda Bayless that she notarized to Gerald Heckerman, he was the vice president. 1 year and 2 months later, 1 year and 2 months later, Linda Bayless signed another one for Gerald Heckerman, and he got demoted to assistant secretary. And the fraud foreclosure mill's ongoing investigation is with Docs. I don't know whether you know about Docs or not, but Docs is a foreclosure mill where they hire students, or they hire anybody and pay them $10 an hour to go and sign forge documents. It was on CBS 60 Minutes about Linda Green. She had signed over thousands of documents stating that the people were vice presidents, and she had no authority to do any of that. And they found thousands of her, hundreds of her, and thousands of her signature with Linda Green, and none of them matched. Gerald Shapiro and fishermen in the state of Florida, they have been commit fraud on this court. The court finds by clear and convincing evidence that WAMU, Chase, and Shapiro and Fishman committed fraud on this court. and that's basically what they're trying to do now, and they are still trying to do. And also the Florida State Attorney General's office. You go, girl. You go, Pam. You're a good girl. Asked the 4th District Court of Appeals to certify imported foreclosures investigation for Florida Supreme Court. The Attorney General versus Shapiro and Fisherman. And I want to address you people here in North Carolina. If you've tried to enlist the help of the North Carolina Attorney General's office or the Commissioner of Banks, their offices, and if they have refused, I would like for you to send me a letter and let me know why they did. They tried foreclosure on me again in 2009. They first started in 2009. Back then my husband was sick and I didn't have a lot of stuff to, to sit and do, to go over all this stuff. But in 2009, I had paid them 11 payments, I believe it was, and they started foreclosure on me. And then I had sent them 5 more payments, and I think I had paid them, well, I did pay them 16 payments in 2009, and they started foreclosure on me, and I had paid them excess money, and I didn't mean to, but I didn't, at the time, I didn't see. But what they do, these people here, I've got a list of robo-signers and a list of crooked attorneys that work for American Home Mortgage, Litton Loan, Ocwen, Option One, and all these other ones, if you name it, especially MERS. And if anybody is tied, any of your documentation is tied into MERS, it does not matter if they said that you could have modification, and then you did what they said for a while, and then they say, oh, you can't do it, you're not qualified to do it, and they cut you off and started foreclosure. You need to write to me, you need to let me know, and you need to let me know how many of you in North Carolina that have tried to enlist the help of the North Carolina General Attorney's Office. I have been trying to get into that man's office, for Roy Cooper's office. I have been trying to get in there for the last 4 years with no avail. I got in there one time, and a little old lady, I went in to see a lady named Rosemary, which was very, very nice and very cordial, but there was a little lady that come in and sat and we got 15 minutes. She's very arrogant, and she wasn't really helpful or whatever. But I want to find out, the North Carolina Attorney General will answer to the United States Attorney General. All the stuff has already been set in motion, because this stuff here that I have been going through for the last 4 years, I have suffered through all this mess for the last 4 years, that they keep sending me harassing letters and harassing phone calls. And even after I hired an attorney back in January of 2012, they kept calling and they kept calling and they kept calling. And I think in the state of North Carolina it's $4,000 a pop when they call you. In some other states it's $10,000 when they call you and harass you. But anyway, they had tried to do that to me in 2009, and I paid them money. And like in January the 7th, 2010. I had paid their attorney $1,878.52, which I did not owe any. I did not owe their attorney anything, but they had put on a statement that they only paid them $580. But what I want to do is I want to bring to light all you people in North Carolina that if you have been foreclosed on, and another thing too, they will add stuff to your escrow. And they will try to make you think that they prey on the elderly, the uneducated, and the people that cannot afford an attorney. They strongly do that above anybody else. That's who they go after. And like in 2009, when my husband was sick, I had put, I think I had put July on the August payment. And they jumped right on that. They jumped right on that, and but I have got proof that I had paid all 6 payments, and 11 payments had been paid in October when they said they were going to start foreclosure. Well, they didn't really file it until December, and when they filed it in December, I'd already paid 16 payments. And if you've paid them any escrow payments and they have not paid your taxes like they should have when they should have been paid, and you have proof of all that, and if they added like 1 year, I think it was. They wanted me to pay triple, excuse me, wanted me to pay triple of what I really owed. I owed, about $104 a month with my mortgage thing. But the reason that they had my tax escrow is because in 2006 I had called them and asked them to, because the economy was going down and my husband was sick. And they did, but my daughter was helping that at that point in time, and she had paid the lump sum in 2006, and then in 2007, for the whole year of 2007, I paid the tax escrow with the mortgage company. They did not. They failed to pay it. The sheriff came, and I had to pay him again. That was paid twice. In 2008, they said that they had force paid it, and I had paid it to Option 1 for 2008, and then it changed over at the end of toward the end of the year to American Home Mortgage, and then when it turned over to American Home Mortgage in 2009, they said they had paid it, but I'd already paid it to Option 1. They'd already had the money. American Home Mortgage, Option 1, and American Home Mortgage are the same thing, same address, the same loan number, same, everything's the same, and they are owned by Wells Fargo. And I had paid that, and then American Home Mortgage said I had to pay it again, so I paid it again to American Home Mortgage. After I'd already paid it to Option 1, I had paid that twice to them, and they paid it a year late to the Wake County Revenue. And then in 2010, January the 7th, 2010, I paid the 2010 taxes to American Home Mortgage. They failed to pay it again, so in July I went and paid it to the Wake County Revenue, so that was paid twice. But they have things right here, a foreclosure victims blog, foreclosure law. This one right here is dated February the 12th, 2011, and it gives you a list of the attorneys on the list that follows. We're doing business now with notorious fraudulent robo-signing affidavit, mill lender, processing services, Fidelity National Bank, Foreclosures Solutions, and several other names. And if you're in Florida and the opposing firm was or is Sospiro, you have a personal interest in that. All you have to do is to contact the state attorney's office, which is Pam, and she will help you in any way she can. She's really good. She don't let anybody get away with anything in the state of Florida, and it'd be nice if our Attorney General was like that. If you think if there is fraud in your case, let me encourage you, everyone, to file a complaint against the attorney involved with the state bar. You know, these attorneys that bring to you all these forged and fraudulent affidavits, you need to send it into the state bar in the state that you're in. And like the Florida bar has that attorneys have an affirmative obligation to tell the court about any fraud on the courts. And like I said, if you write to me, my name is Maggie Walker, Post Office Box 10566, Raleigh, North Carolina 27605. Here in North Carolina, and let me know if you have tried to enlist the help of the North Carolina Attorney General's office and he failed to, if they failed to help you with anything, call me. And another one that helps these fraud mortgage companies is Hutchison, Senna, and Britton. These right here, these attorneys here, they're some of the ones too that do that, because I have got them where they had tried to also foreclose on me illegally in another one. The highest court in the state of Washington recently ruled that a company that has foreclosed on millions of mortgages nationwide can be sued for fraud, a decision that could cause a new round of trouble for the national banks. The ruling is one of the first allowed consumers to seek damages for mortgage registration systems, a company set by the nation's major banks. Legal experts said last month, decision from Washington Supreme Court. And up here it says MERS is dead, can be sued. You can sue them. This is the state of Washington. That's great for the state of Washington. And hats off to all the states in the United States where the attorney generals have went after these, and the governors have went after these, and went after these people for compensation for what they have done to them, illegally taken homes. But right now I'm interested in the ones that live in North Carolina. if you have had problems, if you went to, okay, say if you go to court, you have a hearing, and you go down to the Wake County Court and sit there in this little room with this lady, which is supposed to be a clerk, I guess, or a deputy of the court, a clerk. She's not a magistrate, and she's not a judge. And you go in and you've got forged affidavits, and you ask her, what about these forged affidavits? Well, she says, well, she said that they can't do anything about it in that court, but yet that is a hearing. She sits there and she's got the authority to listen to a fraudulently attorney sitting on the other side with some technicality about where, you know, they could have charged you too much, added too much stuff on there. They've got a thing now that they add all these fees, and I add extra stuff to your escrow and all this, and by technicality, that lady has got a right to take your home and give it to these mortgage companies, but yet that lady has not got the right to sit there and listen to the hearing, the whole nonchalant of the whole hearing. And that is so wrong. The state of North Carolina needs to change all this stuff, because that should not happen. When you go into a court of law, it's supposed to be a court of law in the state of North Carolina, and you've got your documentation that you have been trampled on, that you have been fraudulently done wrong, and these people have, you got 4 forged affidavits, and you have proof with you, and then they sit there and say, we can't hear this in this court, but yet she's got the authority to take your home and give it to take your home illegally. This stuff like this in North Carolina has got to stop. I don't know what kind of cliques they got going on in the state of North Carolina. I do not know what is going on with all this stuff, but when there was one lady, we were up there getting ready to go into the court, and my assistant happened to be with me that day, and she heard this lady on the phone saying, well, she wouldn't even listen to me. She wouldn't even let me produce anything. That is so wrong. When you go into a court of law, it should be that you are able to explain everything, the whole 9 yards, not just what Shapiro and these other crooked, I mean, these attorneys are crooked. They are linked to robo-signing. They are linked to foreclosure fraud. They are linked to all this stuff, and it shouldn't be happening in North Carolina. And I'm hoping the U.S. Attorney General's office will look into this and will get everything, set everything straight, because this should have been a job for the North Carolina Attorney General, which he has not. I have been trying for 4 years. I have got my first time with them was in September of 2009, and this year's almost 5 years later, and I have not got anything, so I just stopped trying to do anything. I have called them to know of it. I have got their letters that they sent to me and told me that there wasn't anything that they could do. But yet, it says in the manual that he's supposed to be there. He's supposed to take over and help people that are being a consumer fraud. That is what one of his office is supposed to do. But as it is to date, he has not tried to help me and hundreds of other people in North Carolina. But I do want you to write me. There are going to be some class action lawsuits against these banks, against these attorneys, and possibly against the North Carolina Attorney General's office, because all this stuff here that they have put me through for the last 4 years should not have happened. It should not have happened. It's taken time away from my husband when he was sick, and I have had to stay up on top of all this stuff, and like enough of something is enough. And so if you think that you have been foreclosed on illegally, and it does not matter if you was in modification, and then they all of a sudden said, well, you can't because you can't do it. We just can't do it, and you stop paying payments. That's okay. You send it to me anyway. I want to know about it, and we're going to try to set up some places where we can go through all this stuff and help. We're going to go through the state of North Carolina, and we're going to dig out all the forged affidavits that have been produced upon people. Let me say this: if you have defaulted on your loan, and you had gotten behind, and they tried to work with you, and things happen like that, and they tried foreclosing on you, well, then that could be legal. But the ones that they do not have to sit here and sign forged affidavits to foreclose on you. That there is forgery. Forgery is against the law. If anyone knows anything about Black's Law, look up forgery in Black's Law. That is a crime. That is a crime, and it should be dealt with. Like if I went out here and I forged something on somebody, they would have me behind. They'd have me up under the jailhouse. But these attorneys here, And these mortgage companies like Mears and Docs, they sit here and they keep on doing this stuff to people, and it needs to stop. And Suspiro and Fisherman, they even said not admitting anything right, you know. And the Attorney General, Bill Malcolm, Brenda Frazier fabricated assignments in Florida foreclosure fraud, foreclosure mills, and it's been under investigation. And also with Linda Green, LPS, MERS, and mortgage electronic registration. But like I said, I have got 4 affidavits. So if you think that you have been foreclosed on illegal, you need to go back and you need to make them prove to you, give you the affidavits. And like I said, I have got a list of the fraudulently attorneys and the robo-signers. And if you send me a letter, I will send me a letter and let me know that you need that list. I will tell you how to get it. I should have it here with me somewhere today. And also in Guilford County, North Carolina, you go Guilford County, the Register of Deeds in the Register of Deeds in Guilford County, North Carolina, they sues to clean up bank mess. I went up to the Register of Deeds in Wake County with my 4 forged affidavits on me, but they said they couldn't do anything about it. And I asked the lady, I said, well, if I come up here with forged and fraud affidavits, you mean I could get away with it? And I think she said pretty much. But anyway, all this foreclosure mess is going to stop. We need to get together. The North Carolinians, there is a mortgage fraud against mortgage fraud in North Carolina, and there was one lady named Marcella. But anyway, we need to get together and we need to start these class action lawsuits against these attorneys, against these mortgage companies. I mean, all mortgage companies, all these mortgage companies like Litton Loan, Ocwen, and Equity One, Popular Mortgage, American Home Mortgage, Option One. All these are tied in together. They have a bank, and that is the parent company of these little subsidiaries. But if you need any more information, if you send me what you need to, just send me and let me know that you're interested in a class action lawsuit against anybody that's done any forgery or fraud on you. Will you send it to me, to Maggie Walker, Post Office Box 10566, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27605. Greatly appreciate it. And we need to band together and we need to get all this mess cleaned out. And if they've got a little good old boys club going on down around here, down somewhere in North Carolina, we need to get the good old boys club cleaned out, because the Constitution says we the people. It's we the people. It's not these people that sit up here and say these things and do these things that how they want it to do. And before I close, I want to say this too. And the state of North Carolina has set the medical malpractice at $500,000. Well, let me tell you, it's we the people. It's not these people that sit up there and make all these little statements and say it's going to be this way or they voted in this way. It's not. It's we the people. It's we the people in North Carolina. And we need to get together, and we need to get together soon. And we need to go ahead forward with this. I don't care if they have already taken your home and they've already foreclosed on you. If you think that there was anything they charged you, overcharged you, or shouldn't have been on there, any technicality that they took your home, I need to know. You need to let me know. We have people that will be working on this stuff, and we will get it all together, and we have attorneys that will go after these. And I do want to give my thanks to Aaron Brockovich. You taught me well. And so like I said, if you need anything, just send it to me at my address, and I will answer you.